If your life is falling apart right now, let it. If it seems like your world is crumbling beneath your feet, or a part of your world or life is crumbling beneath your feet, let it. And that might seem crazy, but the simple fact is that is no longer your life. So, a big part of manifestation is becoming the new version of you that can accept and receive the blessing that you're calling in. So if life feels pretty crappy right now, 9 times out of 10, that restructuring, that breaking down of your old reality is what you're experiencing. So you need to embrace this new identity, but part of embracing the new identity is grieving your old one. So you have to let go of the things that no longer serve you. You have to let go of the things that aren't even working for you anymore. You have to let go of the things you used to do, the old habits you used to have, because that's not going to get you to the new place that you're trying to go. It's going to keep you where you are. So you can't do the same things and expect different results. It's not how life works. So if you are experiencing a breakdown, if you're experiencing a shift, embrace it. As crazy as that sounds, because that's not meant for you anymore. The universe responds not to prayers, not to wishes, not to wants, but vibration, the frequency that you're emitting. Each and every human being has a electromagnetic field, and so we're sending out signals like a radio. So if you're tuned to the channel of lack, then that is what you're going to receive. Even if you get online every day saying, I am so blessed and grateful for my riches and my abundance, and I'm a millionaire. Well, you won't be a millionaire until you start vibrating at the frequency of a millionaire. And that is you're going to have to phase shift like a lot. Like, especially if you're nowhere near millionaire status, you're going to have to break down and collapse a lot of identities and a lot of realities until you get to that point. So if life seems really crappy right now, just know that you should not trust your 3D reality, what you see. If you're calling something new in, if you're not satisfied with your life, if your life is not your dream life currently, then you should not trust what you see with your own eyes. And I say that because it's residue. It's accumulation of your thoughts, your behaviors, and your old beliefs. They still have to play out before your new reality can fully resonate, fully come into the physical reality. So that leads us to, okay, so I've done that, I've surrendered. Then you hit the void. So I don't know her full name, but her name is Courtney on TikTok. I think her username is Cherry Lime Soda or something like that. But she's been talking about the void. She's, like, welcome to the void, babe. Like, you've done all the work and it's still not working. It's like radio silence. Like, okay, life has hit the fan, like ish has hit the fan. Now what? Because it's like you're believing, you're embracing this new version of yourself. You're doing all the things, you're calling it in, you are, faking it until you're making it, but nothing is still happening. It's because that radio silence is now the time to really, really embrace that new reality, embrace that new identity. And it's hard because part of you, most of you, is going to grieve the old version of you, and even the people around you may reflect that back to you. Like, you see a lot of people, when they want to change, they'll talk a lot about it, like, oh, well, I don't do that anymore, or now I'm doing this and now I'm doing that. And the people around them will say, since when? Like, when have you been doing that? Like, oh, okay, you're doing that now. It's like they don't believe it, and it's because they have not met you yet. You're still meeting the new you, but they have not met this new version of you. And until you start vibrating at that level and emitting that frequency, until they feel you, they're not going to know you. No matter how much you talk, no matter how much you tell them this is what you're about now, they're not going to know you, because you're still getting to know yourself until you open your eyes one day, and then again, your life is what you've been calling in. You are still getting to know that new version of you, and that is what the void is about. It's about embracing that new identity. How would she think? How would he act? How would this new version of me show up? And you hear that all the time within, like, the spirituality and manifestation community, but I don't think it's an emphasis on the fact that it's like, get to know this new version of you. But it's hard because on one end you're grieving the old you, and then on the other end it's like, how can I trust in this version of me that I barely know? Like, I know what she's about. I know that, her everyday being is what I'm, striving towards. But let's be real, baby girl, your normal day scares me. Like, millionaire Faith, her normal day in my current reality right now, that's a bit scary. Not because I don't want it, but because it's a lot. It intimidates me a little bit. And that's not to say that I'm not capable of it, but that's just the reality of it, right? So it's like if somebody walked up to me right now and handed me $1 million while I'm recording this video, out happy, right? Happy AF for sure, but a little intimidated, like, dang, what do I do? How do I manage it? Etc. etc. So that's why you have to phase shift. But going back to the void, so this is the time to get to know that next version of yourself. This is the time to really, really understand who they are, what they're about, how they show up, and continue to take small steps to become that version of yourself time and time and time again. And honestly, it's tough. It's not easy, because it's like you really aren't looking for outside validation. Like, you're really not. Like, you really have to trust your internal process. And this is all about the quantum field, right? So the quantum field, again, responds to vibrations. It responds to your frequency. So now when it's radio silence, when you hit that void, that doesn't mean that God has abandoned you or the universe does not have your back. That's the complete opposite. The quantum field responds to resonance. It responds to coherence. It responds, again, frequency. So when your heart, your brain, your gut coherence, like all of you are on the same page, your internal processes are as clear as ever, that is when the quantum field is recalibrating. That is when the universe is responding to you, is recalibrating to create the correct response. To give you a better example, think about social media. So I'm gonna tell you right now, any AI, any technological advancements, a lot of it is based on the human body. Like, our brain is super, super powerful. So algorithms mimic neural pathways. So think about your social media feed. I was just out to dinner the other day and I was talking to a friend, and we were talking about how we've curated our feeds. For me, I've curated my feed to where it's straight astrology, spirituality, travel, or cute animal videos, specifically puppies or cats, and the occasional like random wildlife animal. Okay, so we were saying how I was telling her how my partner, he has watched so much world news that he's unintentionally trained his algorithm to show him all the world news, and it's become like, it kind of creates anxiety if you curate something to always see like world news. Not saying you shouldn't be informed, but just sometimes, like, especially at the state of the world right now as I speak, it can be a little bit stressful. It can be a little anxiety prone. So your brain is the same way, right? So it's responding. So now, before you're sending your algorithm or you're feeding your brain or your subconscious mind all these things about lack, all these things about, oh my God, my life is falling apart, blah, 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 blah. You've been feeding that for quite a while. Even if you don't even consciously realize it, if you're in a situation where you're doubting yourself or you're doubting, how am I going to make it through, that's still sending that same signal. So now, as you start to send it a new signal, it's going to pause. It's going to stop. It's going to say, oh, she doesn't like this anymore. He doesn't like this anymore. And it's going to be that radio silence, that void. That is not the time to give up, but that is when most people stop. That is when most people go back to the old signal. That is when most people go back to the old reality, the old life. So your job is to continue to do things differently, to trust in the fact that the universe is recalibrating. The quantum field is listening. When it's silent, it's not off, it's not done, it's listening. And then, slowly but surely, your job is to look out for how it is recalibrating. So maybe you are feeling in lack, but if you get a free coffee, if you get a discount, if you suddenly got a promo code, take all of that. The universe is pretty neutral, honestly. We assign meaning to a lot of things in life. So your job is to always look out for, how is everything working out for me? How is everything slowly but surely adding up in small, small ways? And the void is about becoming. You're becoming this new version of yourself. Even me right now. Once upon a time, I would never be out in a park recording a YouTube video. People are passing by, and internally, low-key, I'm freaking out. But also, as I embrace the new reality, that is the residue of the old me. The new version of me that's monetized on YouTube, or that just is a known astrologer, this is nothing. She does this all the time. And that's why I keep recording and I keep talking to y'all right now in this moment. So again, it's embracing those new things, and slowly but surely it adds up. Slowly but surely your nervous system is calibrating to the new identity. And once everything is on the same page, that is when people quantum leap. That is when they make that shift, and it seems like it's overnight. But in reality, it's not. Maybe on a physical reality level, yes. It just seems like, dang, she flipped a switch and now she's good. Okay, this is what I'm talking about. So, not to put this lady business out here, but it's like I'm over here worried about people walking by watching me, and then you have somebody that is doing a nice photo shoot way over there. I don't know how to zoom in, but if you look past that tree, you could see her. I'm not gonna put her business out there, but that's what I'm talking about. That is what I'm talking about. That is a sign to keep doing what I'm doing, because I'm not the only one that's out here that's getting content, and that's just on period. So again, that is what I'm talking about. Look for the signs, because they are there. And as you phase shift into this new version of yourself, realities are going to collapse. You are shifting between timelines, which is why it's a pause, which is why it feels stressful. But that doesn't mean that you're being tested. You are getting a response. You are getting a reply. You are becoming. If you're getting the reply from your old way of being, that is okay. Let it play out. And as it plays out, you eventually are going to come to your new reply, which is what you've been telling your subconscious mind, what you've been feeding the quantum field. I hope that this makes sense, but this is just on my heart to share, because I see a lot of people who are kind of on the same wave right now, where life is just funny, and I think that this is happening on a collective level. I mean, even astrologically speaking, Saturn is about to go retrograde like tomorrow, July 13th, in the sign of Aries, which Aries is the sacred I am, is who you are, who have you become. So as Saturn retrogrades, any planet when it goes on retrograde is basically going on vacation. Saturn rules structure, boundaries, restrictions, but also it's like this nurturing in a way. Because when I think about Saturn, I think about like Capricorn, but the other side of Capricorn is Cancer. And it is, some people even in modern astrology begin to look at Saturn as more of a maternal figure than what Hellenistic astrology looks at it as a more paternal figure. So either way, it's this nurturing, it's this container, it's this structure, it's this holding. So when it goes retrograde, it is going to be a challenge as far as how do I continue to hold that structure, with the structures that I have created, the boundaries that I have set. Do they actually work for me? Are they actually working for the version of me that is becoming? Like maybe it worked for the old, sorry, these mosquitoes are eating me up, y'all. Maybe it's working for the old version of me, but this new structure, this new container that I built, this new system that I built, does it work for where I'm going? Or does it just simply work for where I'm at? That is what it's asking you. And I kind of touched on that in the new moon or the full moon video. But this is the energy that I'm talking about. And this is how we are going to get on the other side. It's literally kind of like Neville Goddard, like, we're going to get to the other side by remaining on the other side, by walking and talking and doing as much as we can to be in the energy of the other side. So I always like to use the example of money, but even for love, when I was attracting a partner, I just started loving on myself, and I started walking around like I just got a text from my man. And eventually I was getting texts from my actual man, because I attracted my man, but it's you're opening yourself up to that version, even when on the outside world it doesn't look like it. It doesn't. Maybe you're attracting weirdos on Hinge, or weirdos on Bumble, or weirdos on Tinder, or just every time you go on a blind date or go out, it's just not working out. But that does not mean that person is not literally just a second away. You just keep showing up ready and willing to receive. I hope I'm making sense, and I hope that as we continue to work through this energy, that you guys continue to evolve into that version of you that is ready and willing to do the dang thing. So That's all my little tidbit. I'm gonna get out of here while these mosquitoes chowing down on me, and I will see y'all later.